My name's Nico Oliva. I'm here for Cobra TV News. And who am I here with today?
I'm George O'Connor. I am the author and illustrator of the Asgardian series and the Olympian series. This is the newest one, just came out last month. Asgardians Book 2, Thor.
So, Mr. O'Connor, tell me what are you doing here at South Miami today?
I've been brought here by the good folks at the Miami Book Festival. You know, Miami Book Festival, biggest book fair in the entire country. I didn't know that. Did you know that? Now you know that. They brought me down, and I'm here talking to students. We just did a workshop about creating your own comics. I'll just say this: comics are words and pictures coming together to tell a story. They don't have to be drawn well. It's just like it's like writing, but like you also get to tell some of the information with pictures. And we just did some really bizarre stories. We worked on one together about a couple of your teachers. Shout out to Mr. Guerra and Mr. Sesson. If you haven't heard about this yet, I apologize. I don't know who you really are. The students drove that.
And tell me about where your passion for comic book writing really started.
Oh, that's a great question. I have been drawing like most of us. I learned how to draw when I was a little tiny kid, and I wasn't better than anybody at that point. I just kind of stuck with it, and it's one of those things you just gradually get better. It was just a way for me to tell stories before I even knew how to write in English or Spanish or anything. I just knew how to draw pictures to tell stories, and once you start using pictures to tell a story, I mean, you're all film people. You understand this. You have another tool. There's so much more you can do with that. The written word is amazing, but when you also combine the written word with pictures, what you can do with that, it's next level. So yeah, it's just the way. It's the closest way to the way I think. It's the way that I think most languages start. We start drawing pictures and they become words. It's a way. It's a really primal and important way of telling story, I think.
And tell me, how do you hope to inspire this younger generation, like these high schoolers you just spoke to today?
I have to say this was a good group of kids. Like I speak to a lot of high schools, and sometimes the high schools they're just kind of like too cool for school, and they're like, I'm like, hey, who likes to draw? They're like, I don't draw. These people were up for it. I just want like my whole thing is I come in, I try to inspire people by like not being serious because some people take things way too seriously. Just come in and have fun. Making books is a lot of work, and you should never make a book unless it's something you're really excited to do. And like you will discover as you get out into the world, being an adult, you have to spend a lot of time doing things you don't want to do. So if you can find a job like me, I'm one of the luckiest people in the world. I love my two favorite things are to write and to draw, and I do it for a living. My third favorite thing to do is travel, and I spend my time when I'm not writing and drawing, traveling around talking about it. I've carved out the ideal existence for myself. And I like to just to say to people, for years, everyone was really worried about making sure they had a safe job, an important job. And as we see the world changing around us, a lot of those safe jobs aren't as safe as they used to be. So I think it's important you spend at least a couple of years really figuring out what it is you love to do and explore it. Maybe you're not going to want to do it for the rest of your life, but it might turn out that like you find the path that you really want to be on by exploring it. Don't immediately go for the quote unquote safe job because safe jobs aren't as safe as you think.
That's some great advice right there. I think I'm going to take that myself and
And
run
hopefully
with
don't
it.
be parents coming like, "Well, you tell my kid not to be an accountant." I'm like, no, maybe they want to be an accountant, but you know,
Yeah, it's some great advice. Definitely, you should live doing what you love doing.
yeah,
And I was just wondering, can you tell us a little bit about that new book you have there?
yeah. So this is Thor. You probably know Thor from Marvel, but this is mythological Thor. And in case you don't know, Thor was a god of the Vikings, one of the main gods. Thursday, by the way, is named after him. Like we literally, when we say his name every week. He was Thor's day. He was the god of thunder, which is interestingly not the god of lightning. In the myths, the thunder comes from, if you see on this cover, he's on a goat cart. It's from the noise that his goat cart would go, goat, not go kart, would go make rolling over the ground. He was the most powerful of the Asgardian gods, which was the Norse gods. He was very strong, and he was kind of a dummy. And he had this bright red hair. His eyes burned like coals. His myths are really fun. And so this is a story like we live in a world where everyone knows Thor. We've all seen those movies. Even if you haven't seen the movies, you know Thor. It's like Chris Hemsworth and he talks like this and he's barely got control of his Australian accent, but like, he's hunky. This is the more mythological version. This is the way like I wanted to share some of these stories so people know where the Marvel Thor comes from.
That's awesome. Everybody, tell the people where they can find your book and purchase it.
Oh, my book is available everywhere. I always recommend check out the independent bookstores, but you can find it just about anywhere. Libraries have it too. Depending when this comes out, I've already spoken at the Miami Book Fair, but I know that Books and Books does a lot of the stuff there, but really get it anywhere. My books, just type in George O'Connor and books, and you'll see a lot of stuff. In fact, that's my website, George O'Connor Books. Literally go there and you'll find more books.
Well, you all heard it here first. You can purchase Thor anywhere.
Anywhere. Like you could go to just go to like the post office. That's not true. You probably can't buy it there.
This is George O'Connor. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. O'Connor.
Thank you so
Really
much.
appreciate it. Thank you.
This was really fun. Thank you.